Thank you, ladies and men who presented that, put that beautiful dinner together. Wasn't that, did you do that every Sabbath, or the dinner? That was a wonderful, yeah, they're probably back in the kitchen, God bless them, but no local church can survive without people who have a mind and a heart for eating. That didn't sound right, but you know what I was saying. Because it is food that connects the human race. When I travel around, I'm so amazed. It's food that just ties everybody together. You walk through an airport, it's food. And God intended that to be the case. It's a social meal. And when Jesus walked with Cleopas and his wife, and I believe the second companion there in Luke 24 was his wife, when they walk together, and they have no idea they're talking, and he walks with me, and he talks with me, and he tells me I am his own. You know that song. They're talking with the God of the universe, who's just hours ago exploded out of this sepulcher, conqueror over death forever and ever, amen. And they're walking with him, and he's keeping his identity hid. And they invite him in. He said, you got to come in. No, look, the sun's going. You can't. You may need to even spend the night with us. He said, okay, well, I'll eat with you, sure. Food is what exposed them to the identity of Jesus. He chose a good meal to say, I'm here. They saw the way he broke the bread, and then when he looked to heaven to pray, they didn't have their eyes closed, and they saw him looking up, and they look at each other, and then they look at his hands. It's the Lord. Gone. It was just that fast. But he stayed with them until we could sit down and eat together. So the people in our faith communities that pour themselves into these meals, I mean, that food was wonderful. And that's a gift, that's a love gift. They don't get paid a penny, as you well know. But thank God for them. And the other group that every local church is desperately grateful for, there are many of them, I'm not going to go through the whole list, but it's the people that run the PA. They never get thanked. They always get the butt end of the, well, you know what, the PA's not working, or the slides don't work, or whatever. You know, these people are not getting paid to do this. They've been here all day. And they get the PowerPoint from me, and Gabriel, where is he? He's gone. He's gone home. He said, man, I'm worn. Dwight's done. I'm out of here before this thing breaks down. But anyway, you know, so they pour their knowledge and their love of technology. And the gospel proclamation is utterly dependent on them doing it. Otherwise, that's all you got. So thank you, Gabriel, Michael, and all the team. Pastor Terry, you got a great team here. You were blessed. And they have a beloved leader, and that's wonderful. So Pastor Daniel, thank you for praying. I'm going to just plow right in. I don't know if I've told you today, but I want to make sure before I get out of here that I do. I have 3 bold and demanding convictions. Number 1, I believe that we're living on the edge of eternity. Number 2, I believe that Jesus is coming soon. And number 3, America's in trouble. And we're going to pick it up right there. Thank you for coming back on such a beautiful Sabbath afternoon. There's two groups of Americans I'm especially burdened about. One group is called the nuns. And I'm not talking about Roman Catholic sisters that live in a convent. Nuns means N-O-N-E-S. They're the ones that take a survey and they say, what religion are you? They say, none. So they're called by demographers and sociologists, they're just called nuns. But there's a second group I'm also concerned about. They're all over. The second group is called the Gons. Yeah, G-O-N-E-S, like in bye-bye. Gons. A book came out a couple of Augusts ago that rocked the evangelical world. And I want to quote from that book. No, I haven't done anything yet, but I'm just scared to hit this reset button. Because every time I do that, you have to come up. It just, yeah. So it's not used to taking so long to get started. That's my problem. All right. So the title of the book, written by Jim Davis, Michael Graham, and Ryan Burge, title of the book, The Great De-Churching. Turning church into a verb, the Great De-Churching. Listen to this on the screen. As a nation, we are currently experiencing the largest and fastest religious shift in the history of the United States. Keep reading. About 40 million adults, 16% in America today, used to go to church but no longer do. For the first time in the 8 decades that Gallup has tracked American religious membership, more adults in the United States do not attend church than attend church. This isn't a gradual shift, it is a jolting one. Soon the number of de-churched, I'm calling them the guns, will exceed the number of unchurched, the nuns. That's what's happening. And don't tell me it's not happening at Azure Hills. Oh no, it's happening at Azure Hills. It's happening at the University Church. It's happening in every church, irrespective of denomination, in America today. You know why? Because we went through the pandemic together. And these young adults, many of them are young adults. You have young adults in this church that haven't darkened your doorway in a long time. Young adults, not so young adults, gone, none. In this age of now extremism that we've been thinking about for the last 2 sessions, they simply have disappeared. Listen, you say, well, that's the evangelicals. Oh, bad luck for them. Nope, that's us. Hey, I remember the pandemic. We're not that far out of the pandemic, trust me. And I remember, and I'm embarrassed to tell you this, our own community back in Michigan split almost 50-50. And I'm really embarrassed to tell you that when I would meet parishioners or not so parishioners, and I'm walking to them, and I'm realizing we're going to have a greeting, I'm doing the mental calculus. Okay, pro-vaccine, no vaccine. Mask, no mask. Where do they stand? Why? Because people were just getting offended just like that. What do you mean? I'm supposed to believe like you believe? Nuts. Our church has been split, and they have not all come back. They said, well, listen, if you can watch worship in your pajamas in an easy chair, well, why not do it at home? Am I telling you anything new? No, they're not here. Now, we're glad that they're somewhere, and some of them are still watching. But the gons and the nuns are a huge problem for American evangelicals today, and we're a part of them. So, what do we do? How are we going to reach them? I mean, come on, Dwight, we spent 2 long sessions talking about America and the earth beast. So what? What are we supposed to do about it? These few moments we get together right now is the so what? Let's do this idea. Back to Tim, Alberta, new quote here, and you've seen this book on the screen, The Kingdom, the Power, and the Glory of American Evangelicals in an Age of Extremism. He makes a point we got to get. This is the problem with politics as a substitute religion. Jesus commanded us to love the Lord with all our heart, soul, mind, and strength, and to love our neighbors as ourselves. This is his, the emphasis is his. This is the recipe for reaching the unchurched. This is the recipe for convicting the unconvicted. This is the recipe for effecting change, whether over abortion or sexual ethics or any other issue of importance. We can't get into a fight over this thing. We can't become divided and split up. Or where do you stand with this? And where do you stand with that? And we're the congregation that stands here. We need to be the congregation that stands wherever people need somebody to stand, so that they can come and join somebody who's standing with them. We stand with them. Now, if we've learned anything from these last few months, our solution is not coming from Washington. It's not going to come from Washington. We have to take America in our own hands and do something. Don't just sit here, do something. So let's just see how this feels. Let's try it together. We can't weaponize our faith. And for too many, that's what faith has become. Make it a weapon. You're either with us or not. You serious? Yeah, I'm serious. That's what this is all about? Well, I didn't know that. Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on us. And he does have mercy on us. And I'm going to fly this by you because I believe there is one truth. I believe there is one truth that can open the door to the hearts and the minds of the Gons and the nuns and America. One truth. In fact, I humbly believe that if you took all the revealed truth in the universe and reduced it to a single, simple sentence, that this would be that sentence. The maker of all things loves and wants me. That is a summary truth of everything in the universe. I got scientist friends, they're looking for the TOE, the theory of everything. Physicists, a lot of them. We'll find it. One theory to explain it all. No, this is one line that will explain every truth in the universe. The maker of all things loves and wants me. Whoa. Is that in the Bible? Are you kidding? Where is it in the Bible? Is that about the Sabbath? Oh, that's about the Sabbath. Why do you think he has a day off with you in mind? Because the maker of all things loves and wants me. Is that the truth about death, that you really go to sleep and then you wake up when Jesus returns? Yeah, that's the truth about death. Why is the truth so simple? It's the greatest philosophy on life and death on the planet, bar none. And that is irrespective of who you are or where you're from, or what you did for a living, all die. But death is asleep. One split second and you're up again. Do you understand that? When I do funerals, I say, hey, listen, folks, don't forget, this is death. Eyes closed, eyes open. That's death. This is an enemy. You're right. I didn't ever want to die. But that's okay. If you die, eyes closed, eyes open. That's it. Jesus says, Lazarus is asleep, but I'm going there and I'm going to wake him up. There's no other church teaching that on the planet. You were raised up to share that good news. The maker of all things loves and wants me. Come on, my man next door, he loves and wants you too. That's the summary truth of everything in the universe. And listen to this. Every single nun and every single America, if they could be exposed to this one-line truth, oh, we'd have an open door. We'd find an open door. They got ticked off with the politicization of religion. A lot of them are just, I'm not into this. I'm not taking the political sides. I don't play that game. That's just weaponizing your faith. But tell them this truth. They're longing. They're dying to know this truth. Can you prove that from the Bible? I was hoping you'd say that. The Gospel of John. Come on, let's just do this. John 1. I want to prove to you that this is the summation of all truth. And who better to do it than the man, John. This is John Boy, the boy that grew up to be Elder John, the elder apostle. And then Jesus shows up one day on a Sabbath afternoon. It was the Lord's day, and Jesus is Lord of the Sabbath. And he shows up on a Sabbath afternoon, and John is on his face like a dead man. And Jesus reaches out with his right hand. He said, come on, John. Now, Jesus didn't hide his glory. John had never seen Jesus like this, ever, ever, ever. And then Jesus said, I'm going to give the story to you. And I want you to write it down. Don't forget to tell him about the earth beast. Okay? So John writes it down. Gabriel is the assistant. Gabriel is the prime minister of the universe. He's not God, but he's the prime minister. The highest being there is. When he walks into the room, we're dead. We're all of us on our faces, just dead. That's always what happens when Gabriel shows up. And that's why his opening words to Mary, to the shepherds, to the people at the ladies at the tomb, first words are, don't be afraid. Because they're afraid. He was imposing. He was I know I'm dressed in white and look just like a man. I'm not. I'm the prime minister of this universe, and God has sent me. Wow. Okay, so John, come on, let's do it. I think we can do it right here. John 1. Okay, so let's take the mighty prologue. This will be fun to do. And this is really the undergirding of the truth of Jesus' fingerprints all over all truth. Okay, so this is John 1, 1 to 3. In the beginning was and the Word was with, and the Word was, He was with God in the beginning. Through Him all things were. Come on, that's the maker of all things right there. Through Him all things are made. That's the maker of all things right there. It just said it. I'm the maker of all things. Through Him all things are made. Without Him nothing was made that has been made. Oh, what's the truth? The maker of all things loves and wants me. That's the truth. Wow, come on. How about John 1:14? And the Word became and dwelt among us. And I'm remembering it from the old King James. And we have seen His. You mean the Word came down and pitched His tent right beside us, which is how it reads in the Greek? He tabernacled next to my tent. He's in His tent. Yep, that's the one I'm talking about. And we beheld His glory. The glory is of the only begotten of the Son, full of grace and truth. Why? Because the maker of all things loves and wants me. This is the truth. I'm telling you, you're right now trying to say, I can find another truth, Dwight. I'll find one that's even greater than this one. You won't. Don't even waste your brain cells. You won't. This is the greatest truth there is. Okay, so what's the next one? Oh, come on, let's do this one out loud together. For God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son, that whosoever believes in Him shall not but have everlasting life. Why? Because the maker of all things loves and wants me. That's why. Isn't that something? It's everywhere. It's the greatest truth there is. Oh, and every time we do John 3:16, everybody forgets John 3:17, and that's huge good news. Come on, John 3:17. For God did not send His Son to condemn the world. I came here to condemn you. I came here to judge you. I'm going to throw you out. I'm going to get you one day. I'm watching you like a hawk, and I'm going to get you, and you're gone. No, He did not send His Son into the world to condemn the world, but to save the world through Him. That's the only reason why'd you come, Jesus? Because the maker of all things loves and wants you. Loves and wants me. Wow, my. And everybody skips this one, so I'm going to hit it nice and hard. John 4:4, 4 words in John 4:4. He had to go. Let's talk about Jesus. Now every respectable Jew knows that if you need to get to Galilee from Jerusalem or Jericho, you don't take a shortcut, you take a long cut. You come to Samaria and then you go whoosh, 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 and then you go on to Galilee. Jesus doesn't take a long cut. He takes a shortcut, which is straight through Samaria, in an old town called Sychar, and there's a well there, and he is so thirsty, and he's hungry, and the boys have gone off to pick up lunch for him, and he's sitting there, just waiting. Because the Holy Spirit said, I want you to just sit by that well. Jesus did not see a little tape playing in his head that said, well, now, you'll see a girl come. See it? Can you see her yet? Okay, well, she's coming. Just watch. No, it didn't work that way. What Jesus got from the Holy Spirit was, son, you just stay right there. Until I say move, don't move. I know you're thirsty. Let me see what we can do. And here she comes. Who is she? Oh, she's just a woman in the village down the street. A woman whose heart is breaking. Every night she cries herself to sleep. Sleeping beside the snoring man beside her. Every night. Thirsty for meaning. thirsty to know the truth. The maker of all things loves and wants me, but she doesn't know that truth. But the maker of all things is going to make sure she learns that truth right now. And he says, hey, woman, very respectful, I need a drink. I'm thirsty. You mind? You? A Jew? You crazy? I'm a Samaritan. I'm a woman. And she didn't say, and I've had 5 marriages, and the man I'm living with now is not my husband. She didn't say that. Jesus said that. He says, oh. He said, if you knew who I was, you'd ask me for drink, and you never have to come here again. Sir, you serious? You're joshing me. No. Ask me. Are you greater than our father Jacob, who dug this well? Come on. And in that little repartee, back and forth, Jesus is drawing that thirsty heart that has been longing for the water that will satisfy her dry, empty soul. Marriage has not done it. Why did he do that? Because the maker of all things loves and wants me. I didn't want to go to the long cut. I went the shortcut because she's going to come to the well. He didn't know that. Holy Spirit says, just go there. You'll see it. You trust me. You'll know exactly what to do. And he did exactly what he should do. As the Messiah himself. Wow. I'm telling you, it's that way all the way through John. Every story, every miracle. But let's go to John 13. John 13. Everybody knows this. A new commandment I give you. NIV changes the word entole into command. I don't like that. I like the commandment because I'm old-fashioned. But that's what it says, a new commandment I give you. What's a new commandment, by the way? Love one another. As I have loved you, so you must love one another. By this, everyone will know that you are my disciples if what? If you have love for each other. Why? Because the maker of all things loves me. And when I know that the maker of all things loves and wants me, then I start loving everybody else too, because I know the maker of all things loves and wants you, and he loves and wants you, and he loves and wants you, and he loves and wants you. So I love you too. The whole world will know you are the follower of the maker of all things who loves and wants us all. They'll see it by your love. Isn't that great? Oh, come on. How long have these verses been here? Okay. We'll go to chapter 15, one more. Greater love has no one than this, on the eve of his execution. And he's telling about it now. No, there's no greater love than this, than to lay down one's life for one's friends. And you're my friend. You're my friend. You are my friends. Never forget it. You will always be friends with me. And I'm the maker of all things who loves and wants you. And Calvary came to prove that love would never quit on us. It don't get any better than this. I think there's some gons in this little community. I think there's some nuns that if they got this, if they saw it in you, they say, I want, hey, girl, I want what you have. It's so genuine with you. There's no fake. You're not putting it on. It's not like your makeup. You put it on and take it off. It's real. I want it. That's why they're gone. They didn't see it. That's why they're nuns, because I never saw this. The only thing I know about Christians is that they're fighting to get the White House, get control of America, and I think that is really wrong, so I'm never going to any church anymore. Never have and never will. Those are the nuns. They can be reached. The woman at the well was reached because somebody just loved her. Just loved her. Treated her like she was worth something. I guess there's a little more to read here. You are my friends if you do what I command. I no longer call you servants, because a servant doesn't know his master's business. Instead, I have called you friends, for everything I learned from my Father I have made known to you. So this is my commandment, that you love one another. Why? Because the maker of all things loves and wants me. And he loves and wants you. Whew. We just read this, didn't we? Love one another as I have loved you. I'm gonna have a woman pastor Put the words on the screen for us right now. Laura Bunker. She's right. She's right. Here we go. The black kids in the city of Chicago, the gay kid who struggles with suicidal ideation, the single mothers, the prostitutes, the broken of society, the only way they will know is if we go. They are not coming to Azure Hills. They're gone. They're none. They will never come here. They don't care about our steeples. They want to know, is my life redeemable? Does my life have purpose? Does it? We want to tell you the maker of all things loves and wants you. Oh, girl, your life has immense purpose. Boy, your life has immense purpose. The marginalized, the disenfranchised, the alienated, the very people Jesus hung around with, much to the dismay of the religious hierarchy, by the way, right? Remember, Sadducees, Pharisees, they were all dead. Get rid of him. He's killing us. Why? Why did he go around like that? Because the maker of all things loves and wants me. That's why. These are the very people. The marginalized are the very nones and gones that are no longer here and never been here. And you know what they're watching? You know what they're waiting for? Come on, let's be honest. They're waiting to say, okay, Jesus freak, I heard he loves everybody. You never say a word to me when you come to work. You just hurry by me and sit down at your desk, start doing your text messages and social media. You don't pay any attention to me. What's the matter? Do I remind you of somebody? Is it my lifestyle that you don't like? That's why I don't go to your church. I don't like it. Because if they're like you, if your God is like that, you keep him. You just keep him. Oh, man. The recent Super Bowl. Any Super Bowl people here? The recent Super Bowl debuted a series of ads purchased by Christianity Today. Brilliant strategy. The strategy was called He Gets Us. If you just go online sometime and type in the words He Gets Us, you'll see the strategy. And I'm going to tell you who found it, who's the guy behind this. This is something. Don't worry, I got it. Okay, the campaign is funded by the nonprofit Come Near with billionaire David Green, the founder of Hobby Lobby. How many love Hobby Lobby? Yeah, come on, Hobby Lobby. He's the billionaire founder. And he's investing his money. In the most recent Super Bowl and the previous Super Bowl, they bought huge FaceTime with the ads. The ads feature, and this latest round, you go online, you can see them. They feature images of everyday people reaching out to lonely, socially ostracized, marginalized, alienated human beings of every stripe, shape, and gender. The pictures roll in the last series to the crooning voice of Johnny Cash in his song, Personal Jesus. And he's just singing as these images go by. There's one image that'll break your heart. It's of a young adult. He's got to be 22, 25. He's got his baseball cap on backwards. He is sitting on the floor of a drugstore. It's a white boy. And the black attendant in the pharmacy is down there. He's sobbing. You can tell he's just sobbing. And she's there holding his hand. I mean, a picture is worth 10,000 words. This one just says it all. Why are they investing these millions of dollars? Because they're trying to tell America. The previous series was Jesus didn't teach hate. He washed feet. And then they all end with this, He gets us, all of us. See, the church hasn't been about all of us. The church has been about the people that are like you and me. That's what the church is about. It's not all of us, because all of us, we don't even let all of us come. They know better than to show up. Wow. So what's up with that? Well, What's up with that is, what is up with that is, I'm going to find my place that I lost here. What is up with that is, they know that the gons and the nuns are looking for that kind of treatment of the human race. They don't care what you believe. They don't care what you believe. Do you love people? Do you reach out to the alienated, the marginalized, and the disenfranchised? Because if you do, if your church is for that, I'll come and check it out sometime. I'll check it out. I'm not telling you when I'm going. I'll come and I'll check it out. Wow. Evangelicals who have been so vociferous in championing their pro-life, anti-abortion, political, personal stance, and most of us would concur with their personal stance on abortion perhaps, but with skepticism, Americans at large have judged a pro-life stance that champions the life of the unborn but disregards the plight of humanity on 100 other platforms. What kind of people are you? All you talk about is a fetus. That's all you care about. What about all the homeless here in this county? They're all everywhere Karen and I look. There are little corners with tents, and the police have even put fences around them now so they'll be protected. It is the greatest embarrassment for America today. A wealthy, affluent society is putting tens of thousands of men, women, and children, leaving them homeless. Well, Dwight, don't you know they all have mental disease? Oh, good. Well, then you're supposed to love them anyway. We'll love them out of that mental disease. Oh, you can't do that. It's too late. Oh, you're just wimping out. Oh, man. What about the immigrants? What about the refugees at the border? What about people and families on food stamps? What about unwed mothers? What about feeding hungry children to school? What about after-school care? Why is that my business? Why is that our business? Because the maker of all things loves and wants all of us. Not just you. He wants all of us. And he says, come on, love like me. Do it. Oh. Oh. Gideon, do not desert me in my hour of great need. What do you hit? Benediction? Okay. Okay. Okay, yeah, thank you. Kind of reset itself, didn't it? Okay, Laura Bunker. Yeah. Because the maker of all things loves and wants me. And if the maker of all things loves and wants the poor and the needy, and I repeat myself, the disenfranchised, the marginalized, and the alienated, if that's what he came for, and the wealthy really didn't receive him that much, a few did, but if he spent his dominant time with the people on the other side of the tracks, that ought to be a clue to you and me. That's probably where we ought to spend our dominant time. You can't spend your time trying to reach wealthy people. I'm not discouraging wealth. Wealth is what keeps the church going. But the people even that are wealthy need to be out there with the people who are not wealthy. We have to do something. America's going to die, and we're going to be sitting here watching it die and doing nothing. We cannot. The greatest truth in the universe, the maker of all things loves and wants me. We can tell them that. We can show them that. And Pastor Tara was showing me yesterday, you got this, you got some weekday stuff, right, Pastor Terry, where you bring people in during the week. You got the community hall. You named it after one of your pastors. What was that? Yeah, the Elias Community Center. Yeah. So you have stuff like that where you invite people to come in. You're working on it. Good. Well, the maker of all things loves and wants me. And if he does, then why wouldn't I? I got to show you something. This is a great text, by the way. 1 John 1:9, because we're sticking with John. Revelation and the gospel, and now we're in 1 John chapter 4. We love because he first loved us. Now, I used to think it read, as it mistakenly does in the King James, and even in the New King James, I used to read it, we love him because he first loved us. It's not there. It's we loved. We love because we got loved. What that is saying is when you know that the maker of all things loves and wants you, That's your license to love. You just go out and love people. You just love them. You don't say, how much should I love you? Or what will this cost me? Or is this going to be inconvenient? You just love them. God will pay you back. God will make it up to you. You're not going to suffer. You're not hurting. This says we love everybody because he first loved us. The maker of all things loves and wants me, and because he does, I love you. I'm very unhesitant now about saying to people, I love you. I love the way you live. I love what you do. We used to be kind of blushy and embarrassed about it. You don't have to be embarrassed. I love you. Man, I'm so glad you're around. People need to be loved on. Amen. And of course, it's not just saying it that does it. We're going to have to show them. But oh my. How did Tim Alberta put it? I thought this was really good. This is the recipe for reaching the unchurched. This is the recipe for convicting the unconvicted. This is a recipe for effecting change, whether over abortion or sexual ethics or any other issue of importance. What? We got to tell them, the maker of all things loves and wants me. And I believe with all my heart that that's the message we got to get out. That's the message we got to get out. And I think we can do, Pastor Tara, I think we can do public evangelism with that as the base message. We just do it. Every doctrine will come back to that. Every doctrine comes back to that. Oh, it's the simplest reduction of all truth universal. Okay, come on, Dwight. Where are we going with this? Okay, what shall we do? Here we go now. What shall we do? I got some suggestions here. Suggestion number one, let's start reaching out to America. I mean, come on, we're just talking about it. We might as well start reaching out to it. I mean, now that we got Revelation 13 and we realize, these are serious times, then we got to be doing something about it. Now, I'm going to take you to one of the heroes of the New Apostolic Reformation. And I'm not holding him up as an ideal, but I'm telling you what, I want this man's passion for America. I want Dutch Sheets' passion for America. Now remember, New Apostolic Reformation is Christian nationalism on steroids. Yeah, it's the rough and tumble. They're sitting in the highest offices in the land, and I'm not going to tell you their names because this isn't about names. They are rapidly accomplishing their agenda. Take control of the government and family and education and arts and entertainment and all the rest. I read through that list. Okay, so here is Dutch Sheets. You Google his name. You'll see he's an old codger. He got a crew cut, and a plaid shirt on. But he's considered one of the great apostles of this movement. He's not a prophet. He's an apostle. He's a leader. Dutch Sheets. I thought this was such a line. Look at this. The number one passion of my life. So what's your number one passion? Right now, what's your passion? Listen to this guy. NAR, New Apostolic Reformation Apostle. The number one passion of my life is seeing America experience a third great awakening. This has been my primary calling from God for over 20 years. He's going to finish that in a moment. We just had Don McClafferty. Have you ever heard of Don McClafferty? Oh, man. He did a 9-night revival at Andrews University. The president was there every night. Pastor was there, of course. Karen and I were there. Place was full. We had 500 plus every night, which, for campus, middle of the week, that was very good. And Don got up front. He's a man who loves Jesus, and he's a prayer warrior. You got to have him sometime. They will come from everywhere to hear. But what he did for us was he just simply told the story of Jesus and how he prays to reach people. It's unbelievable how he reaches people just from praying. God, do you want me to do something? He says, and God will say, I want you to do it. But do you want me to do it right now? I want you to do it right now. I want you to go talk to that flight attendant right now. You're not getting me to talk to a flight attendant. He said, I am getting you to talk to a flight attendant. It's incredible. He's got the books with stories in it. But anyway, what Dutch Sheets quotation, because I just put this stuff together a couple weeks ago. What Dutch Sheets quotation. My passion is to see America experience a third great awakening. You know what? We need to have that passion for Adventism. Adventism needs a great awakening. If not, we're dead. If not, we're in cruise mode and we're dead. It's dead. Laodicea, you haven't need of nothing. You're not hot. You're not cold. You're just sitting there. Sabbath after Sabbath after Sabbath, just sitting there. Man, you make me want to vomit. That's his language. I'll spit you out of my mouth. Look, be bad. Be good. But don't be this little namby-pamby nothing stuff. That's what he's saying to Laodicea, the last church that is symbolized in this historicist interpretation of the letters to the 7 churches. The number one passion of my life is seeing America experience a third great awakening. Okay, this has been my primary calling from God for over 20 years. I believe there is a 2 or 3 window for us as a nation to see certain things change. He spoke these words in May 2014. 2 to 3 year window, he says. I believe we have a 2 to 3 year window to take America. Guess what? They got it. They got it. 2016. Got it. The man has a passion for America to be awakened. And he says, I think we only got a few years. We got to do it now. Well, if it's important for them to do it now, why is it not important for you and me, who have been entrusted with the 3 angels' message as God's last desperate, passionate appeal to the human race? Why is it not important for you and me to be going around and telling everybody? Why would we say, no, we're not going to do it? You can't. And how did Dutch Sheets, he put it in, there's one little line which I thought was good. When it comes to America, it ain't over. And he said that back in 2014. Very prescient. And he worked hard. These guys hustled. But they're in the highest echelons now. I can tell you 3 of them that are well-known figures in the news. They're there. New apostolic reformation. When it comes to America, it ain't over. We need to tear a page from their playbook. We need to feel the same. The number one passion of my life is to see America experience a great awakening, because when it comes to America, it ain't over. You and I have a work to do, and we must do it. It gets more urgent by the day, okay? Case made. No, you say, Dwight. No, excuse me, time out. No, Dwight, not me. Oh, what do you mean not you? Well, I'm not into that, see? I'm just not into it. Oh, well, I hate to dispel you of this notion, but this isn't about you being into it. It's not about being into anything. This is about God saying, hey, listen to me, girl. Listen to me, boy. If you don't have my heart, you're not coming to my home. That's exactly what he says. If you don't have my heart, you're not coming to my home. Oh, home, sweet by and by. No, you're not going to be singing sweet by and by up there. If you do not have my heart, you're not coming to my home. Why? Because heaven would be hell to you. Because the people in heaven are so unselfish, they're just loving on each other. Say, hey, let me help you with that. Hey, let me help you with that. Hey, let me help you with that. You'd say, this is driving me. This is making me sick. Well, you won't be going there. Because if you don't have God's heart, the maker of all things who loves and wants me, you'll never go to his home. He knows you. It would be torture for you. Just stay here. Stay here. We'll miss you. Guys, who's going to settle for that, for Pete's sake? No, not me, not you. Suggestion number 2, Pentecost 2025. Have you heard about Pentecost 2025 yet? Okay, well, let me tell you about it. North American division. Do you know about the North American division? I don't know, the West Coast is so far out. Do you even know that there's a division called North America? No, I'm serious. Do you know? Oh, brother. Pentecost 2025 is about the NAD's group effort to reach the slice of America and Americans living all around us. We're talking about the Gons. We're talking about the nuns. We're talking about anybody that we can talk about and reach for Jesus. And that's what they're saying. Let's just do it. Look, if Dutch Sheets can say, I want to see a revival, why can't the North American division say, we want to see a revival? Pentecost 2025 in America. Come on. That's another place where I got to know your pastor. In the city of brotherly love, Columbia Union came along and said, we're going to grab this young woman leader, and we're going to ask her to head up an initiative to reach the heart of the city of brotherly love that over the last few months has been in the news because of tragedies. And so Tara said, hey, Dwight, come on over and meet with my kids. These are young adults. They're given it 9 months or to a year of life, to be in the city, heart of Philadelphia. And you have the worship every morning and do some teaching on how to preach and communicate and all that. Well, it was an honor to come. And here's this group that Tara's working with. She said, wait till you see the headquarters that we're buying for this ministry. So she took me down the street and led me up the stairs, and it was in a state of being put together. But a perfect location. I mean, right on the street corner in Philadelphia, PA. Are you serious? Yep. That's what needs to be done. And there has to be something, Pastor Tara, around here that can take the energies of this church and harness young adults because they're ready to go for broke. They're probably the one generation. Teens to a degree, but young adults. That's why I spent 40 years with college kids. I just love them because they go for broke. They're value clarification time, but they're ready to step out. Radical allegiance to Jesus. Isn't that right, Pastor Gabriel? Yeah, radical allegiance. They're ready for it. So what if you held a public series of meetings right here and invited the whole neighborhood around Azure Hills and San Bernardino? Come on, everybody, the whole world knows about the inner city of San Bernardino. And you can't say that's not in our parish. You're just as responsible for it as anybody else. Because the church that's there ain't going to be able to do it. They're going to have help. So why don't you adopt an inner city? Say, come on, we can do it. All this does is it gets our minds off of us, me, and thinking you. Because when we're thinking you, it's the mind of Jesus. You love like I love, self-sacrificing. Can it be done? Why couldn't it be done? Maybe you're already planning this, I don't know. In which case, God bless you. Listen, the most effective form of communication, listen to me carefully, the most effective form of communication is the voice. This is it. It's not social media. I know you love social media. It's not social media. The most effective human communication, research has shown, is the human voice. So when a human voice says, I want you to know Jesus, the person that listens is not reading a little social media post. The person that's listening says, tell me more. Because the voice engages a response. The Holy Spirit is effective through your voice, which means, by the way, you are critical to the plan of salvation. Very critical. Because if your voice stops, God loses. You cannot be putting it off to the pastoral staff and say, well, their voices will take care of it. They'll never get to where you get. They will never get to where you get. You have to be a part of the delivery system. The truth, the maker of all things, loves and wants me. I tried this for the first time this last year, so I can do a little, I'm not boasting, but I can give this testimony. I met with a couple on Zoom. So they're living in Wisconsin, Madison, Wisconsin, great university town. And we're living in little Bering Springs, southwest corner of Michigan place. And the wife said, well, can we have some Bible studies? Well, she's a backslidden Adventist, and he's a Roman Catholic. I said, well, let's try it. I didn't say that, try it. I said, oh, yeah, sure, we can. And I'm thinking, I wonder how this will work. But we met once a week in the evening when he's back from his engineering job and she's back from her work. We meet online. And their dog Bauer is always getting into somewhere and getting in the action because I'll hear this sound in the background. We met for 25 weeks in a row with breaks for the holidays. Started in November, ended in June, I think. You say, oh man, that's too much time. I'm not going to do that. I'm telling you, It's not that bad. It's good. You know my friend John Bradshaw, It Is Written? I use his study guides. So I say, okay, guys, you go to the web, you download his, you get the study guide. We'll take them in order, 1, 2, 3, 4. I have a pack of them. They can get boxes of them for you if you wanted them here. So you have one pack, and they're doing it. It's all download for them. It's kind of fun, they're downloading it and all. But you know exactly what's there. And when you get together, you go through it on your own and say, well, okay, this is a good one. What would I do here? This is not rocket science, like you got to be some evangelist to do it. You just do it. And then you take them through, and there's always a decision question at the end. And you just ask, hey, was this clear? And they're talking back at you. You can do it. It's simple. It's free. You have to give some time. But anything worth doing is going to take time. There's no quickie little, you come to Jesus moment, oh good, now who's next? It just doesn't work that way. There are people out there that you can reach. And your pastoral staff can point you to people. If you can't think of anybody. Hey, listen, you want to get together? I know you're living across LA, but listen, we do this on Zoom. We'll just do it on Zoom. Really? Yeah. I think you'll like it. Try it. Right? Is this difficult? No. Go face-to-face next door, do the Zoom screen. I don't care what you do. It is written, study guides are simple. I'm telling you, it works. She came back to the church and he got baptized. Karen and I drove over there and baptized him. Yeah. Now, you can't do the baptizing part, but don't worry about it. If you're involved with the Bible study, your pastor will get you involved with that baptism. Amen. Absolutely. Yeah. We got to do something. We can't just sit here. We have to do something. Okay, here's another one. Oh, man. Press home. Okay. Oh, you got to press home twice. I did not know that. That is such wonderful. Okay. Number 3. There are only 4 of these. Number 3, suggestion number 3, spread this message. Well, what's a message? Oh, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you what the message is. Listen to this. This is so cool. This is the message. The last message to go to the human race. You ready for this? Okay. It is the darkness of misapprehension of God that is enshrouding the world. Men and women are losing their knowledge of his character. It's been misunderstood, misinterpreted. At this time, a message from God is to be proclaimed, a message illuminating in its influence and saving in its power. This is Christ Object Lessons, page 415. The last rays of merciful light, the last message of mercy to be given to the world is a what? It's a revelation of his character. Guess what? There's your message right there. That's it. That's the message. You'll find it at the heart of every Bible teaching that you want to teach. It'll be there. It's that one sentence. That's the message. It'll be the last message to go to the human race. I believe with all my heart it will be. And it's the truth, the maker of all things loves and wants me. What's not to like about that message? It adds self-esteem. Suddenly you feel like you're somebody. You mean you're talking about a God that made the whole universe, loves and wants little old me? Yeah, that's what we're talking about. No, you're kidding me. No, I'm serious. You ever hear the story about Calvary? Yeah, but that's Easter. No. It's the summation of all truth. The maker of all things loves and wants me. But by the way, she's saying it's not enough to talk it. You got to walk it. She says, you guys are good at talking the talk, but I want you, I don't know why it says, I want you to walk the walk. And so just turn the page, and what page is this? It's page 417. Practical work will have far more effect than what? What Dwight has done all day long. Way more effective than what Dwight has done. Why do I go around and preach? Because somebody's heart gets turned. And somebody says, Jesus is coming soon, and I'm going to change my life. I'm going to live with that priority. That's the only reason I do it. There'll be somebody who sat through these 3 sessions and said, you know what? This is not rocket science. Honey, we can do this. That's the only reason I do it. Practical work will have far more effect than mere sermonizing. We are to give food to the hungry, clothing to the naked. Come on, Uncle Ralph, this is what you were doing with ADRA. This is meeting the physical needs of the human race. Once we meet the physical needs, then we are exposed. They will admit their spiritual needs, right? Yeah. My uncle spent 18 years, heading up the work of ADRA. And it's just a wonderful organization. So I finished this. So we are to give food to the hungry, clothing to the naked, shelter to the homeless, and we are called to do more than this. Come on, keep going. The wants of the soul, only the love of Christ can satisfy. If Christ is abiding in us, our hearts will be full of divine sympathy. The sealed fountains of earnest Christ-like love will be unsealed. Something will happen to you when you're helping someone else. That's the whole point. That's the whole purpose of helping others. It's really to help you. That's why God says, no, you're not going to get here without doing it. Because you'll have a problem. It will not have been dealt with. You're stuck. You're stuck on yourself. You have to break out of yourself. You have to do this. It's the only way it'll work. There's no other way. Well, I'll find another one. You won't find another one. There is no other one. This is it. Wow. So that's our message. I don't need to remind you, by the way, that Ellen White was huge on humanitarian work. Oh, mercy. Unto the least of these, my brothers and sisters, remember the parable in Matthew 25? That's his last parable in Matthew. It's his last parable. A teacher will generally leave to the last class his most important lesson. And it's a parable of, you did this to the least of these, you were doing it to me. You went to prison to visit me. You were doing it to me. No, I was not. Yes, you were. I was there. I was hungry. Came to your door. You didn't drive me away. You pushed a $20 bill in my hands and you took me to McDonald's and said, here, eat. That was me. You didn't know that, did you? No, Lord, when did we see you? You weren't there. That was me. I was just checking you out. Giving you a chance to live doing something for somebody else. Makes me kind of embarrassed all the times I've turned the opportunities down. I blush. Desire of Ages, she declares that in the last judgment, our, quote, eternal destiny will be determined by what we have done or have neglected to do for him in the person of the poor and suffering. The eternal destiny. How did you treat the poor? See, it's not, what did you say about me? It's, what did you do for me? Because the only way to know in the judgment is not, what did they say? But you can say anything you want to say, but you don't mean it. The whole judgment will be asked the question, what'd she do? Gabriel, what's her name again? Okay. Read me from the summation, the AI summation of her record. What does it say? What did she do? Did she do anything for anybody? Oh, I'm looking, Lord. I'm looking. It's going to be here somewhere, I'm sure. Well, did you use AI? You can get to it a lot faster that way. No. There's nothing. Nothing? Nothing. She believe in me? Oh, yeah. She go to church? Oh, yeah. Return tithe? Pretty regular. How about offerings when the kids come forward? She'd always have $1. But nothing for anybody? I'm sorry, Lord. Okay, next. Well, that's what the Desire of Ages is saying. We'll be judged by what we did for the poor and the needy, not the rich and the affluent. Because it's sure a lot easier to say God is love than to show that God is love. I'm going to Laura Bunker one more time, because I think this is a heavy quote. About the black kids in the city of Chicago, the gay kid who struggles with suicidal ideation, the single mothers, the prostitutes, the broken of society. The only way they will know is if we go. They are not going to come to us. They don't care about our steeples or our bell tower. They want to know, is my life redeemable? Does my life have purpose? Maker of all things. loves and wants me. Number 4, last one. You too can do this. Okay, so we have an inner city. Wall Street Journal called the Benton Harbor, 12 miles from Andrews University, called it the second most depressed per capita inner city in America. The first was in Detroit. And this is number 2, per capita, okay? So you have bigger expanse, but per capita at one time, most depressed. 2 kids were sitting in church one day. They were inspired and walked out, and the girl said to the boy, let's go to Benton Harbor. Okay, what are we going to do? Well, I don't know. Let's just go door to door and ask people if they have anything that we can pray for. So those 2 kids, I'm telling you the truth, went door to door on their own, knocking. People answer the door. And inner city people are very open. People answer the door. Yes. Hi, we're in your neighborhood. We're from Andrews University, and we're from Azure Hills Church, and we just want to pray. Do you have anything we can pray for? You put it in a question to them. Oh, yes, I do. Come here. Over and over again. They just, come on in. I have a friend up in Grass Valley, in that region. He takes his teens door to door in affluent Northern California neighborhoods. And they ask this one question: is there anything we can do to help? Oh, you know, my husband died last year, and I got all this stuff in the garage. I got to move it. Would you mind coming in? That's all. And he says the wealthy responded, well, you really want us to help? Yeah. Come on in. Again, it's not rocket science. It's just loving on people. Wow. Why do you do it? Because the maker of all things loves and wants me. Hey, we did an inner city. We have a past. Hey, those 2 kids, by the way, we planted a church in Benton Harbor because they started out just door to door. They created a prayer ministry, started busing Andrews students up to the inner city, 12 miles up the road. We've planted a church called Harbor of Hope, pastored by an African-American, sharp, young pastor. And they're doing the same thing, picking out housing projects, and they say, okay, we're going to do this project, and going door to door. Hey, listen, you can do it. Young adults will love it. Give me a chance. Sign me up. Where do I work? Where do I write my name? Basketball camps. So they found out that doing Sunday afternoon basketball camps in the summer, there are a lot of jocks running around thinking they're the new LeBron James. No, this is just getting them to play. And you got some young adult Christians, Adventists, who are saying, hey, yeah, you work on that shot. Yeah, work on that shot. Okay, we'll put you on another team. That kind of a thing. It's simple. It's what you already love doing. And what's the name? Shane? What's the name? Shane? Yeah. You had to be your first service. It was wonderful. And Shane gets up there and tells about all these kids he's got. But that's it. Yeah. It's not rocket science. You just let people know that the maker of all things loves and wants me. By the way, loves and wants all people, irrespective of political affiliation. Some of us are getting really touchy about political affiliation. There's no quality. There's no qualification to God's love through you. You love no matter who. LGBTQ doesn't matter. You just love. It's not for you to solve all the world's problems. You just be a lover. You just love on people. Socioeconomic status has nothing to do with it. Religion, education, nothing to do with it. The last message of mercy that the world must hear is a revelation of the character of God. The maker of all things loves and wants me. How about teaching English to migrants? You know what? We're going to have to be doing something. If this gets really serious, the church is going to be called like it did. Oh, I almost preached on that for this message. They were abolitionists. The early pioneers, number one, were all young. And number two, they were abolitionists. They were abolitionists. Underground Railroad, they were run. The first president of the United States, the first president of the General Conference, John Byington, was a stop along the Underground Railroad to Canada. And they called it little hidey holes. They called it hidey holes where the runaway slaves go into the hidey hole. It's under the floor. And they wait until night and then to the next one. Adventists were known. Joseph Bates was a huge abolitionist. James White, huge abolitionist. John Byington, huge abolitionist. The day is coming, I'm afraid, with America, where we're going to have to stand up and be looking out for people that need help. And we'll just slip you away, and we'll help you here, and you can count on us. And by the way, you get the young Adventists, sign me up. Why? Because this is what I care about. They'll sign up. They may not do a soup kitchen, but they do this. Look, we're going to have to do something. How about teaching English to immigrants? How about teaching job schools? How about providing tax preparation for migrants? You know how to do it. Get a accountant to help you. Put up a little shingle somewhere. Free. We'll help you. We'll file your taxes for you. Will it make a difference? Come on, guys. You will never know whose life you might touch. Ever. Let me share a story to close. Imagine my surprise to read. I was in Dollar General, my favorite store, okay? So I was in Dollar General one Friday afternoon. I'm preaching tomorrow, but I had to pick up something. I don't even remember what it was. But in Dollar General, they have this rack of paperback books. So I'm waiting to go to the cash register, and I never pass a rack of books if I have a moment without spinning it. There might be something here, right, Tara? There's going to be something I can read. And I saw it there. I said, I have never read that book. I've heard all about it. So I went and bought the book. Took it home. Title of the book, Autobiography of Malcolm X. Written by the great African-American writer Alex Haley. Okay? So I said, do you know who Malcolm X is? Yeah, the 20th century, one of the great activists of the 20th century. Eventually leaves Christianity and converts to Islam and becomes an ambassador for them and was gunned down by some rivals. Sad story. But imagine, I'm reading this book through and I discover his opinion. I'm talking about Malcolm X. His opinion of Seventh-day Adventists. No, you're kidding me. No, I'm telling you the truth. In fact, I just typed it right out of Malcolm X's book. Yeah, boy, I got this down now. Do you need one more sermon? Because I can do it now. Okay, let's go. Okay, autobiography. You can read along this little story. Autobiography of Malcolm X. About this time, my mother, this is Malcolm X talking, my mother began to be visited by some Seventh-day, now that's Alex Haley, he forgot that it's a little d, not a capital D, by some Seventh-day Adventists. Oh, I like that. No, Seventh-day Adventists, okay. Who had moved into a house not too far down the road from us in Lansing, Michigan. I preached in a black church in Lansing, Michigan in December, and I ended with this story. Lansing, capital of Michigan. Anyway, they had moved into a house not too far down the road from us. They would talk to her for hours at a time. Adventists. Okay? And leave booklets and leaflets for sure, Adventists. And magazines for her to read. Now, keep reading. We began to go with my mother to the Adventist meetings that were held further out in the country, out of the city. For us children, I know that the major attraction was the good food they served. Can we get an amen for Adventist potlucks? Come on, can I get an amen for Adventist potlucks? I'm telling you, food is the way to the heart. The major attraction for us was the good food they served. But, now here's the key qualifier, but we listen too. So you do nice things for people, but then they listen. They hear. What drives these people? We listen too. There were a handful of Negroes from small towns in the area, but I would say it was 99% white people. You got the picture, right? 99% white people. Oh, cook night, I didn't even put that up there. You got to see it. I'm so excited about this story. For us children, I know that the major attraction was the good food they served. But we listened too. There were a handful of Negroes from small towns in the area, but I would say it was 99% white people. The Adventists felt that we were living at the end of time. So what's changed? The Adventists felt we were living at the end of time, that the world was soon coming to an end, but they were the friendliest white people I had ever seen. Can you believe that? The friendliest white people I had ever seen. And we sat there and listened to them. Good food, but we listened. You know this Christian nationalism on steroids thing? It's dominated by white evangelicals. What an opportunity for black and white and yellow and brown Seventh-day Adventists to band together to minister to America in this coming chapter. Let them be whatever lights their fires. But we band together. We show a picture of the true rainbow community, right? We showed a picture. And people say, man, these guys at Azure Hills, whoa. The friendliest white people I had ever seen, this great black activist later recalled. How did Jesus put it? Come on, how did Jesus put it? By this, America will know that you are my people because you have love for one another. That's it. Guys, that's it. That's it. How do we reach America? Right there. How do we save America? Right there. We love on them. Oh, why we love on them? Because the maker of all things loves and wants us, that's why. And we'll tell them the truth. And they will join our brigade. And we'll love on more. And we'll love on more. That's how it's supposed to go. And more until the place shuts down. And they say, you can never do this anymore. Goodbye. No, we got to do it. We have to do it. To wait too long will be the unpardonable sin. We cannot wait. So I'm charging your pastoral team. Come on. Seize the moment. You'll do it. Listen, you do everything else so well. You'll do this well. I'm not worried about you at all. And if you ever need help, let us know. We'll send reinforcements. Because that's what we got to do. Maker of all things. Loves me, loves you. How many are grateful the maker of all things loves and wants me? Man, hold that hand up. I want to look Pentecostal just for a little bit. How many agree with this hand that the maker of all things loves and wants me? Now come on, keep your hand up. I'm serious. How many would like to say, hey, by the grace of the Lord Jesus Christ, I want to take that message to America. I want to take it to America. In my lifetime. In my lifetime. Help me, Jesus. Oh, Jesus, we raise our hands. There's nothing good about us. We're the ones that have received from your largesse. The maker of all things loves and wants me and me and me and me all over. And we all raise our hands. We thank you. We're not worthy. We didn't earn it. But we receive it gladly. And we raise the other hand, Jesus, by your grace. The other hand. By your grace, help us. Give us the gumption. Give us a quiet little confidence that I'm doing Jesus' work right now. And I'll be okay. And he's the one that will touch the heart. And he's the one that will speak to the mind. And I'll just be the one loving on them. Loving on them. Let us be the friendliest people they ever meet. Those people at Azure Hills. They're the friendliest people we have ever met. And we'll do it for you, Jesus. And we want to be found doing it when you come. We're not afraid. I have overcome the world. Be of good cheer. We'll go together. And we thank you. We thank you for that assurance. In the name that is above every name, let all the people say, amen and amen. God bless you. God bless you.
I'm Pastor Tara Van Cross, and we're so glad that you're here as a part of this Azure Hills Church community. Please like and subscribe, and click the bell to be notified for when we share new videos. Would you also pray over giving to support this ministry? AzureHills.org/give is the place to go. We pray for you regularly, that God would continue to move and work in your life.